This time around I'm going to look at a PC Engine game, not a very well known one as far as I'm aware, and the game is called, I think, Ryukyu, or maybe Ryukyu, depending on how your Japanese pronunciation is. There's the Who card, which is all I've got. I've got no packaging for this game, and as you can see, it's got a lovely classy bit of artwork on the Who card there. So as always, let's take a look at the fact file now. So Ryukyu was released in 1990 in Japan, published by Face Company and developed by ASCII Corporation, and this is another game that I paid absolutely nothing for as a result of buying a big bundle of loose Who cards and selling off the ones I didn't want, leaving the ones that I kept costing absolutely nothing. Going rate on eBay, you can get a loose copy for about £5 plus postage. A sealed, completely boxed, never used copy you can get for about 20 quid. And a used box copy you can get for somewhere in between that, so it all depends on how good a copy you want, how much you want to spend really. So without further ado, let's take a look at the game itself. So here we have the title screen with all the copyright information on, and a nice sort of picture of a tranquil beach, some nice blue sky, and the logo for the game of course. And as you can see there, it says press the run button. A bit of music in the background, and then some noise, which I think is supposed to be the sound of waves crashing, but just sounds like something exploding. So I'll press the run button and you get a pretty bland looking menu with three options. We've got the one player mode, two player mode, and the try one mode. So we're going to start with one player mode and just go through how the game is played. Three different game options, easy, hard A or hard B, so we'll just go with easy for demonstration purposes. And so here we've got the first level, and the idea of the game, you can see the grid below here, the 5x5 grid. The idea is to fill that grid with poker hands of the highest value as possible. So just going through the other stuff on the screen, on the left here you've got the value that you need to get to clear the level, which is 6,000. The value of the level, which is also 6,000 at the moment. That's all the cards that you haven't used yet. This is cards that are sort of lined up to be used next, so you get a row of 3 at the bottom like you would with the game of solitaire, and then the next 2 are above each row. And on the right hand side is the points you get for each hand. So at the bottom we've got 1 pair is 200 points, 2 pair is 400 points, basically like poker hand rankings, with one exception, which is that in this game the flush is worth less than the straight, probably because it's much easier to see what's coming and form a hand of 4 of the same suit. So let's get on with playing the game. The graphics are obviously not too spectacular. It's a puzzle game, and the idea is basically just to put these cards in order to earn yourself some points. So graphics are not the highest priority. So we'll start off by putting a couple of 3s across the bottom there. We'll put a couple of diamonds. The diamonds are blue, obviously to distinguish them between the clubs, which are red, the hearts are purple, and the spades are green, which is an interesting choice of colours for each of the suits, but there you go. So what I'm going to try and do is create a flush going up that second column there, and either a, I don't know, full house or something like that across the bottom. Obviously if you're not very familiar with poker hand rankings, you're not going to be too good at this game. But we'll see how it goes. So here we go, straight away across the bottom. 2 3s, 2 5s, another 3 there will give me a full house. As you can see there now on the left hand side at the bottom there, it says FH to signify that that row is a full house. And you're looking to score points on rows and columns, and also the 2 diagonals going from the bottom left to top right and top left to bottom right. So far I've got 1,800 points for a full house. Let's see what else I can get. The chance to put together a straight flush there, ace 2 3, probably won't pan out that way though. And what else have I got? I could do flushes all the way along here pretty much, but let's go with heart there. So now I've got a decision to make whether I want to try and make that row, sorry, that column at the end a straight flush, or just start making a normal flush for it. So what I'm going to do is put the 10 in the middle there to make a pair going across the second row now. And what else have I got there? Kings. That king can go there. Okay, that's given me a pair of 10s across there, which is not great. Don't get as many points for that, obviously. And I'll also now grab this 9 of diamonds and make that row there a flush. Sorry, that column a flush. So you get the idea. I can also do a straight along this side as well if we get the right cards. So I'm kind of messing it up now, and this is what happens. You start off by creating something that's worth quite a few points, and then you end up messing it all up and just throwing whatever will go wherever. So I'm not going to get the right cards to make that straight there on the first column, so I'm just going to go for a flush there as well. What else have we got there? That's almost a flush. There's another flush. Looking across ways, I've got a pair of jacks there in the middle, a pair of 6s, so it's not too bad. Decisions. Let's go with, let's just put a 5 there. That's giving me a pair of jacks across there, and then I'm going to put this 6 here, which will give me 3 6s and 2 kings, another full house along that way. And I've got basically nothing going the other way, so I'm just going to make whatever I can out of what's left. So I've got another flush there. Right, this is something that helps you. This is a wild card, or a joker as you might call it in British card playing. So I'm just going to stick that somewhere, and that'll basically help me create a row, or sorry, a column of something half decent, hopefully. Just working out what I could get here. I've got 7, 8, 9. Nothing basically. Yeah, so I'm just going to drop that there to give me a pair and another pair along the diagonal, and this last one I'm just going to go with a pair of 8s there. And as you can see, I've now cleared the stage, got 8,600 points, which beats the total I'm intended to get, aim to get, sorry, by a couple of thousand. So by pressing the button you start to get a picture revealed, and you can probably already tell from that it's going to be a picture of a pretty lady drawn in 16-bit colour graphics. So on it goes to the next level, and again it's basically the same. The only difference is the amount of points you need to clear the level go up. It's now 6,350, but the extra points you had from the previous level get carried over, so they've gone into the stock section on the left hand side, and therefore the points you need to clear the level are less than the total. You just need to make up to the total of 6,350. So again, it's more of the same. So we've got the makings of a full house there potentially. In fact, we can do that almost straight away by putting a couple of 9s down as well, and the wild card at the end there, I'll give you another full house. So you get the idea. The idea is to get as good a hand ranking as possible across each row and down each column and along the diagonals, rack up as many points as possible, reveal more pictures of the pretty lady until, presumably, when you reveal the whole picture, the game's probably over unless it goes on to another one. So I'm now 4 rounds in, and as you can probably see from the left hand side, my stock now is higher than the amount of points I need to complete the level. So basically this is a freebie, and that gives me a bit more flexibility and the opportunity to try and make up some pretty awesome hands. And I've got lucky on this particular round in that I've been able to make a royal flush almost. I'm about to put the ace on there to make that, which gives me loads of points. I've also got 4 10s across the bottom, and what I'm hoping for is to get the wild card to make that 5 10s across the bottom. I'm not sure whether that's actually going to happen or not. I don't even care what's going across ways at the moment, because it really doesn't matter. There's even the chance it's probably not going to happen for a second royal flush there with the hearts, but I'm going to have to drop something in one of these boxes. So what can I do? Drop the 3 in there to make a pair of 3s across. It's pretty naff. There's another flush there. It looks like I'm not going to get the opportunity to make the 5 10s, so I'm just going to have to drop something down there, unless a 10 comes on. Okay. So I've got 4 10s, and then I'll just fill the rest. Oh, there's that wild card I was looking for now. So basically I've got duff hands in some places now, but it doesn't really matter because I've already got so many points to get me to the next stage. It's irrelevant really at this point, so let's just drop that in there and give me whatever that gives me. And then I've got a pair of 3s there. That was pretty naff, but it doesn't matter. And finally across the top I can make myself another straight 10 jack queen king ace. So that's a pretty good round, and as you'll see in a second, The picture is revealing itself slowly but surely. So on we go to the next round. So I've just completed level 9. I'm not sure if level 10 is going to reveal the rest of the picture. But that's the picture so far. And we move on to level 10. And it's a bit more challenging now. I've got to get over 8,000 points, which is a lot more tricky than the earlier stages. We'll see how it goes. I've got all the constituent parts of a straight flush there right off the bat, so that's a good start. That's 2,500 points from one row. The trick is trying to get rows and columns scoring you a decent amount of points when you get to this stage of the game, which is not that easy. Especially the diagonals, you may as well just forget about them in all honesty. Got the makings of a full house at the bottom there now though, and potentially another one there. So I've managed to get the full house across the bottom and 4 of a kind above it with 4 2s, a straight flush as well, but that's still not enough. Still need another nearly 2,000 points from my remaining pieces, which is going to make it fairly difficult. And I'm struggling to see what I'm going to make of what I've got left here, but I could go with a pair of 10s. It's pretty dismal. I've got 4, 5, 6, 7 there, so I could go 8 for another straight, which gives me 7,800, so I need 350 from my remaining row, which means I need 2 pair. Oh, hang on, though, I've still got stuff going up the screen as well. That'll do it. That should be a flush. There we go, I've reached the target now. And what else can I get? A pair of aces, and whatever else I can get just from the top row. A pair of 5s. There we go. Didn't think I was going to make it, but I have managed it with a bit to spare. Is that the end of the game, or is there more? No, there's still more to go, so there's at least another 2 or 3 levels to go yet. So I've just made a start on the next level, and I found by pressing the pause button you can actually change the background music, which frankly I've had enough of that first music anyway, so let's go with Okinawa Connection. See how that sounds. Not bad. I do however think I've made a mess of this level already. I'll probably end up playing it again. Not even sure what I'm doing, except trying to make a straight flush across the second row there. So I've been sitting here and playing for about an hour now, on and off, and I've got nowhere near completing this 14th round. It's too difficult. I can't work out the combination of cards to get enough points to get to the next stage, so I'm about to give up and try some of the other game options, and again I'm nowhere near. I may as well just give up right now, but that's what happens when you don't clear a stage. That's about my 15th attempt, and you get the option to continue. You can see I've got 111,200 points. You can choose to continue or not. If you choose not to continue, you get to put your name in the high score table. A bit frustrating that I think that was the second to last level. I think level 15 would be the final level, but it just gets too difficult unless you've racked up a bit of stuff in the store. So let's now take a look at some of the other game options. So first let's look at the hard mode of the normal one player mode. There's 2 different types, basically the same idea, so I'll show type B, which has an extra twist to it. The main difference between this and the easy mode is that the amount of points you need to clear the level is a bit higher to start with and therefore gets higher as the game progresses. The other difference that's notable is that you can see each row of cards at the top there. In the easy mode, you can only see the next available card on each stack. Now you can see them all, which on the face of it would make it easier, of course, if it weren't for the fact that you've got to get more points overall. And on the mode B of the hard mode, you've also got a clock on the right hand side there, which gives you a limited amount of time to actually make a line. I think it is actually. It keeps ticking down until I think you make a line, and then it goes up again. Yeah, so that makes it a little bit more challenging on mode B. Hard mode A doesn't have that mode, so that's it. That's the only difference. Otherwise, the gameplay is identical to the easy mode. In fact, in every different game mode, the gameplay is identical. So we move on now to the try one mode, and I think the idea of this mode is that you only have to complete one stage to reveal the entire picture, and obviously it's got different amounts of points for each game level. There's also some slightly different configurations of which sections of the cards you can see. So just to start with the easy mode, it gives you a target of 13,000 to clear, which is obviously fairly difficult to do, you would imagine. So I'll play through that and show that I probably won't complete the level, but I'll show that the more points you get, I think the more of the picture it reveals, even if you don't complete the level as a whole. So as you can see, there's no way I'm going to complete this level, but at least you can see the idea of it. I should put a 2 in there and 7 in there. So nowhere near to getting the 13,000 points. Didn't try that hard, in fairness. But at the end of the stage, you do get quite a lot of the picture reveal, which I think is probably to give you the incentive to play again, and also related to how much of the points you did get. So you can see it's a woman in the sea, unsurprisingly. So we won't continue there, just to show some of the other game modes of that. Hard mode is the same as the hard mode in the normal one player mode, so you can see the cards, but the target is higher. Yanbaru mode is probably the most challenging of all the modes, because you don't see any cards. You don't even see the card that's at the bottom of the stack, so you're basically just hoping you get the right ones out, and you've got to get 11,000 on this mode, which again is not going to be too easy to do. And it's just total guesswork. You might get something good, you might not. So the last option is the open game in this section, and in this one you see all the cards, every single one, all the ones that are on the stack that will come through eventually as well, which again, it sets you a higher target, obviously 17,000 to clear the level. Theoretically that should make it a lot easier, because you can see which stacks you need to run down in order to complete the level and get as many points as possible with whatever permutations you think you need. In practice it doesn't really work out that way in my experience, because you just end up trying to get focused on certain combinations and not really thinking about the overall picture. So again, it's hard, and I've never completed any of those game modes for this section. So there's one last mode to look at, which we'll go on to next. And the final mode is the 2-player mode, which is probably the most interesting mode of all. I don't know what the difference between A, B and C is. Let's just go with type A. You can also set a time limit. The useful thing for my demonstration here is that if you don't plug 2 pads into the PC Engine, you control player 1 and 2, so you can set a time limit for the game. So effectively you're playing against each other, let's go with 100 seconds, to try and get the best combinations possible in the time limit, which could make for quite an interesting 2-player game. Obviously when I'm playing it on my own, I'm just running the same stuff on both sides, so it's not really a great demonstration, but you get the idea hopefully. Just try and get through it quickly. So that's the last of the game modes. All in all, it's quite an interesting game, and one that I do think I'll go back to. As I've mentioned, I would like to play this 2-player mode against another human player, just to see how that pans out. I think that could be quite interesting. It's not the most amazing game, and it can get a bit repetitive, But for a game that basically cost me nothing, I'll certainly be keeping hold of it. I think it's worth a look, and it's not very expensive to get hold of either, so definitely worth trying out. And not much more to say about it. If you like puzzle games and you understand poker hand rankings, and you're willing to replay the same levels over and over again sometimes to get the best scores, then I think this is something that's worth having a look at.
If you only knew the power of the dark side.
2, 1, 0.